This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I hope that today this will be like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? You can subscribe wherever you receive podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Intune. You can even have Alexa read it to you via the Amazon application there. Today, I want to talk to you about you are making a difference. Now, I know it's sort of a tagline for me, and I have a few people who like to poke fun at me when I say to you at the end of every podcast, you are making a difference. You are doing better than you think you are. You really are. Well, that's why you're making a difference. So it's sort of twofold today. I want to encourage you that wherever you are, even if you're discouraged today, I want you to know you really are making a difference. And then I want to give us some just easy steps to how to know when you're making a difference. You know, making a difference requires us to go above and beyond expectations. It causes us the desire to want to make a difference, to not just fall prey and fall into the trap of living by our emotions. And you rise above the expectations. You need to find out what motivates you. You will need to identify what is your passion in life. What gets you going? And are you one of those people when you see a problem, you just stand back and criticize? That's what anyone can do. But are you a person who will roll up your sleeves, dive in yourself, extend a hand, try to be a blessing, and do your best to try to fix the situation? As someone said, any old person, any old fool can criticize, and most do. We don't need any more critics today. We need people who will help us find the solutions, help us to fix the messes around the world and in our homes and in where we work. You know, you were born for such a time as this. Be who you were created to be, and all of life is risky. Getting out of bed every day is in a certain sense a risk, but you are there to make a difference, and I believe today you really are doing better than you think you are. Right out of the gate, I think one of the first things that I want to say to you is make your pursuit respect, not likability. Here's an interesting phenomenon. If you set your goal and your mind on, I'm going to make sure people like me, is one of the surest ways to not to not let it happen. People at the end of the day like people who are likable. There's no question about that. But we admire the people we respect. We honor the people that we respect. And who are the people we respect? The women and men with integrity. The women and men who keep their word. The women and men who stay by the stuff even when it's difficult. So what are some ways that I have been put here on the earth, as you have, to make a difference, and how will we know that it's happening? Sort of a twofold question today. Well, one of the ways to know you're making a difference is how do you face challenges? Now, I'm not talking about being foolhardy, but a leader will have to have some bravery exhibited. I'm not talking about being wild and rushing in where fools fear to tread. I think there is a sense in which you and I have to be prudent. You can't make everything in life a battle. If you bleed over everything in short order, you will lose blood. If every hill you're on is a hill to die on, you are going to have a short life. You need to be brave, but you have to be prudent. You need to be ready to face whatever challenges there are, and there are challenges in all of our lives personally, family, where we work. And one of the things that you're going to have to learn and deal with that at times can be challenging is that when you make a decision, you've gathered the information, hopefully you've collaborated if that's possible where you are, but understand there's no such thing as a consequence-free decision. even making a decision for right and for principles and for things to you that look very black and white, there will be people who see it differently and they won't be happy about it, and there'll be a consequence. I have elaborated in earlier podcasts over the fact that once in a while you do have to count the cost. But that's just a part of what it means to be in a position to have to make a decision. For every decision, there's a consequence. Now, I don't want you to think that there's only a consequence when it's a major dramatic decision that everyone knew that it should be made. There are consequences even to small and somewhat poorly thought out decisions. And you and I, if we're going to be people of integrity, people who make a difference, we have to own that. If we step into things, step places that we shouldn't, if we make mistakes, if we made decisions and came to conclusions with all of the data and facts that we needed, then we just have to stand up, be counted, own it, change it, and move on. If you want to be a leader who makes a difference, you have to be an honest person. You have to inform people of good news and bad news. Probably one of the things that's happening right now is people are pretty much getting all of their information not to learn, but to confirm the biases they already have. In my country, if you are on the right, you're going to read media that confirms that and affirms that. If you're on the left, you're going to do the same. Rarely do the two meet. And here's the thing, that we always want to hear the news that will make us happy. But the fact of the matter is we may have to give our coworkers, our family, our employees, both the good and the bad news. Everyone would like to bring good news. But unfortunately, the reality of all of our existence is that there are times when you are going to have to share the bad news. And you're going to have to walk with people through that. You are responsible, not for the news necessarily, but you and I as leaders are responsible to maintain a calm environment where we are. That we have to think our way, pray our way, move our way through something in an environment of calmness. Especially this is true if you are a reactor, you'll get real steamed up and start reacting, and you need to back off. And at times you're just going to have to deliver unpleasant news. You're going to have to help your family, your organization through some unpleasant surprises. But at the end of when it's through and you've gotten through that particular bad situation, and maybe at times even a crisis, when people look back and reflect, here's what they're going to be thinking. Did my leader sugarcoat it? Did my leader shade the facts? Did my leader hold back telling me what it really is like? Or were they just flat out honest? And if they can say you laid it out as it wasn't always pretty, it wasn't even at times things I wanted to hear, but you were straightforward with us. And because of that, they'll respect you for being honest, and you will be a person who makes a difference. This is how you build up trust. You can't make a lot of difference in people's lives if they don't trust you. Folks may tolerate you, and you may be in the corporate world the boss, and so they are forced because of needing a paycheck to follow you, listen to you, walk in obedience, as it were. But you'll never have enthusiastic, trusting friends and followers until they know that you are a person who faces the challenges. You don't back off of a challenge. You don't go looking to pick fights. But if there's something that needs to be done, you're willing, able, and courageous enough to address them. When difficult times come, you explain what's happening in detail, and you don't beat around the bush. You come right out and say the way things are happening. You share the good news as well. These are the things that will enable you to build trust with people. And when the people trust you, you will know for sure that you are a person who can make a difference, because difference makers are trustworthy. I've already alluded to this one, but it's important enough that we ought to highlight it again. And that is to know how you're making a difference and how to be a leader who makes a difference is keep calm. Now, there are times that you're going to be like the duck on a pond. The duck just seems to be carefree, gliding along just almost on top of the water. Everything seems smooth and effortless. And yet, if you were able to look underneath, the poor little duck is kicking for all they are worth. Oftentimes, that is an apt description of what being a leader is like. You have to present a sense of calm, of confidence, that we'll get through this together, we will make it. But underneath, everything in your life may be churning. I'm not saying by being calm that you are not in touch with your feelings, or that you are unaware of the stakes, or that you yourself may even be frightened. You know, courage isn't the absence of fear. As John Wayne said, courage is being afraid but saddling up anyway and moving out. But you must keep calm. If you run around screaming and yelling and out of control, that spirit will penetrate and go throughout the entire organization. It's true in our homes. It's true in our small groups. It's true in our cohort groups, our friends. It's also true at work. One of the ways to know that will enable you to really make a difference is make sure you're passionate about what you're doing. I know it's a cliche. I know at times people say, follow your passion, and you're going to say, I got in this job before I understood anything about all of this. This is a paycheck. This is how I put food on the table. This is how I get my kids educated and clothed and fed. This is how I'm able to survive, and it has nothing to do with my passion. I still believe you can do the best that you can do by putting your whole heart into it. Whatever you do, you should do with all of your heart. And perhaps at your workplace is just as I described. I think therefore it is even more instrumental that you find a hobby, a side gig, some activity that you can put your whole heart into. The worst thing that can happen, especially as we get older, is to allow our heart and spirit to shrivel up. So if work is not where your passion is, I'm sorry. I know that's a vast lot of people in that category, but you absolutely must find something that you're passionate about and put your heart into it. The people who make a difference are listeners. For some reason, I'm a little later to the game in this, but there is power in listening. There's power in listening to people and affirming them. It also will help you to understand people. If there's someone in your company today and you just don't understand their reactions, you can't quite figure out where they're coming from, you can't understand why they appear hostile or why they strike out like they do, I want to ask you this question today. Have you really sat down and listened to their story without interruption, without wanting to make commentary, without trying to fix and correct them, but just listen with nothing else but saying, my goal from listening to this person's story is to seek to understand them, not to change them, not to correct them. I just want to understand their perspective. Not only will you become a person who makes a difference by listening, but by observing as well. Observe what's going on around you. It is amazing to me that some people can't see more than a half an inch in front of their nose. Observe all around you. This is one of the greatest universities you can go to, the University of Observation, of paying attention. Another way that you'll know that you're really making a difference is you need to be the person that sets the example. Don't ever ask people to do something you're unable or unwilling to do. If you are promoted to a new position, remember all the people who helped you get there. There's no such thing as self-made man or woman. We did the effort, we did the work, I get all of that. But all along the way, there have been people who believed in us. I hope that was true in your own home, in the school system, in the church, in clubs you were part of, friends and neighbors. None of us would be where we are today, save for the fact that somebody somewhere believed in us. Someone gave us a shot when not many people would. So set the example, Be thankful, and also look for people that you can sow into their life. You can be an influence for them. You're setting the example. You're not just setting the example for yourself or your family. We're setting the example for all of those around us. It does seem to me that difference makers are also people who are organized. Now, there are degrees of organization, and I'm not talking about being hyper-organized, but everything in its place. You have a plan, you know how to get there, you keep everything in such a manner that you can focus on what's important. I think I only have time for one more today, and here's what that one is. If you want to be a person who makes a difference, make sure that you're fair. Nothing kills morale. Nothing kills morale than having a boss who plays favorites. Now, bosses are like everyone else. There are certain people that are just easier to like. We have a tendency to like people who like us. But even the people who maybe rub you the wrong way, and they're not someone that you would want to spend an evening with or go out to dinner with, we still are required as a difference maker to be fair to everyone, to give everyone a shot, to believe in everyone, and not to overlook or minimize when anyone on the team makes a difference. You, my friend, are making a difference. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this was like a vitamin or supplement for your mind and heart. And again, wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? And if you could leave a rating, and even better yet, leave a small, brief, positive written review. It helps the algorithms and enables other excellent people just like you to locate this podcast. Remember, my leadership friend, you are doing better than you think you are. You really are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.